name is Georg Wittenberg. I'm co-founder and CEO of Inspirient. We use AI to automate data science. So thanks for the kind introduction. If I have to ask the obvious thing first, are there any data scientists in the room? 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple of them. So the first section is exclusively for you. We'll talk about business aspects and then maybe the more general aspects of this later on. But maybe just to begin with the very obvious. Yummy. Very yummy. But please, don't be alarmed. Data science has achieved some amazing things over the past decade. We're able to classify handwriting. We're able to read emotion from images, right? We're able to read emotion from tweets, from short text messages. We're even able to recognize threats or dangers in a moving vehicle, which in itself is amazing, right? Because you have a real-time situation in which decisions matter and can actually be deciding on almost life and death situations. So with all of this great progress that data science has made over the past decade, I myself stumbled over one thing beyond these 4 examples, which is this. Some of you might recognize this, some of you might not. When you open a file in a program like Microsoft Excel, and this is a data file that we would use on a daily basis, we'll ask you, well, you know, this data file that you have, is it delimited? Are the fields in the file separated by tab, semicolon, comma, or spaces? And at that point in time, you start to think about this, like, you know, yeah, like state of the art, like emotions, handwriting, threats in real time. But asking us about, yeah, is this a comma or is it a tab? Like this does not make sense, right? So it's really strange. Like, you know, have you ever wondered that you're faced in your daily endeavors with these kind of like trivial decisions to make, while at the same time working on data science or even artificial intelligence? So did I about 4 years ago. And so I did the only thing that was kind of meaningful right then. I said, okay, let's build a classifier for my data files, which classifies whether this data is separated by a tab, semicolon, comma, or tab. And as you will undoubtedly understand, this was amazingly easy, right? And the accuracy of that classifier was amazingly high. It's not a difficult problem to build a classifier for. And that kind of got me into this rabbit hole of things, because you say, well, you know, here's the first classifier. Let's classify the file format. Okay, done. Not that difficult. Can we classify the file structure? Like, can we say whether it is like a measurement over time? Can we say whether it's transaction? Maybe it's a P&L item from a business context. Maybe it has some location. Can we actually classify what the data is about? And it turns out, yeah, like, you know, saying whether a data set is a time series is a classification problem. It's not a hard one. Like, you can do this. And we build that classifier. And when you do that, then you say, well, you know, maybe if I know what the data set is about, maybe I can classify which analyses are applicable to it. Like, you know, should I draw this on a map? Should I do this on a timescale? Should I draw this on a word cloud? Another classifier. If you got that, then you ask, well, you know, there's certain patterns that you can detect in the data. Can you build a classifier that classifies which patterns are applicable, like, you know, which analysis methods are applicable to an analysis, and then can you say, you know, can we detect the patterns? So we've been doing that for about 4 years now, and we've built 226 classifiers. And we believe that with 226 classifiers, you can actually automate quite a decent part of what is generally considered data science, like going from raw data, which might even be far messier than what I'm showing over here, to actually having something that you can put on the table. And this includes things like cleaning of input, doing a slicing and dicing of the data set, doing a time series analysis, doing a classification for patterns like segmentation, outliers, all these sort of things that you would say, yeah, this is what I as a data scientist spend my time on. You can actually build quite a good classifier for many of these. And in fact, it was in September last year that for the first time, at least in our company history, one of these automatically generated results was put in front of the board of a company. Say, okay, so this is an automatically generated result from an automated data science process that real board members actually talk about. That's interesting for data science because it kind of changes the role of what a data scientist will eventually end up doing. If you, as a data scientist, are putting things on a timeline, chances are that you won't be doing that 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years from now. This is a workshop setting that we had about 2.5 years ago at Deutsche Bahn. The guys on the left and on the very right, those are data scientists. The 2 persons in the middle, those are the business stakeholders, the people that actually care about what's in the data, right? Everything that's on the table was generated by a computer. And these guys are having a conversation about what they care about, what could be conceivably correct or meaningful. It's interesting because it changes the process. All of a sudden, the business people have really, really easy access to say, well, this is something I care about. And the data scientists have really, really easy access to say, oh, that's good to know. Right? So real-world conversations that happened in this scenario include the following 2. Data scientist on the right-hand side said, very interesting problem that you're describing here. I'm afraid the data cannot deliver on that. And then when we were in the workshop, the business guy said, you know, the problem I had the other day, this thing over here is quite a good approximation. Can you add one more thing and then it will work for me? I said, oh, I didn't know you meant that. The other thing that happened in that very workshop is that the data scientist on the left said, oh, this is something that we've known for 2 years. And the business guy said, well, why didn't you ever tell me? It's really relevant for me, but you never told me. Right? All of a sudden, it's more a discussion about the results of the data science process as opposed to methods being used. Like, no, do we care about this? Do we know about this? That's interesting, right?